Oh, hi, I didn't see it. I bet you're an Extra Lifer. Wait, what is Extra Life? Seriously? Extra Life is a charity gaming fundraiser. We play games to raise money for local children's hospitals. We've raised more than $70 million since 2008, and all because of people like you. What are you waiting for? Donate Extra Life to help kids like me.
Impossible. We love that word. It's a challenge to explore the unknown, to sculpt the skylines, to map the human mind, and propel humanity to the edges of Earth. At Georgia Tech, we are determined to forge a better tomorrow, because the world is counting on us. Impossible. It's not just a challenge, it's a calling.
We aren't looking for just anybody to join the Space Force.
We're calling on all late-night coders, early morning gamers, self-proclaimed space geeks, stargazing science junkies, tireless trailblazers, daydreamers, and especially square peg and a round hole type thinkers. To shape the force that protects our interest in space and our everyday lives on Earth, the only force created for the 21st century.
We need people like you.
So consider this your invitation.
Let's test your speakers.
Come on. Finally. Oh, hi, I didn't see it. I bet you're an Extra Lifer. Wait, what is Extra Life? Seriously? Extra Life is a charity gaming fundraiser. We play games to raise money for local children's hospitals. We've raised more than $70 million since 2008, and all because of people like you. What are you waiting for? Donate Extra Life to help kids like me.
Impossible. We love that word. It's a challenge to explore the unknown, to sculpt the skylines, to map the human mind, and propel humanity to the edges of Earth. At Georgia Tech, we are determined to forge a better tomorrow, because the world is counting on us. Impossible. It's not just a challenge, it's a calling.
We aren't looking for just anybody to join the Space Force.
We're calling on all late-night coders, early morning gamers, self-proclaimed space geeks, stargazing science junkies, tireless trailblazers, daydreamers, and especially square peg in a round hole type thinkers. To shape the force that protects our interest in space and our everyday lives on Earth, the only force created for the 21st century.
We need people like you.
So consider this your invitation.
Let's test your speakers.
Come on. Finally. Oh, hi, I didn't see it. I bet you're an extra lifer. Wait, what is Extra Life? Seriously? Extra Life is a charity gaming fundraiser. We play games to raise money for local children's hospitals. We've raised more than $70 million since 2008, and all because of people like you. What are you waiting for? Donate Extra Life to help kids like me.
Impossible. We love that word. It's a challenge to explore the unknown, to sculpt skylines, to map the human mind, and propel humanity to the edges of Earth. At Georgia Tech, we are determined to forge a better tomorrow because the world is counting on us. Impossible. It's not just a challenge, it's a calling.
We aren't looking for just anybody to join the Space Force.
We're calling on all late-night coders, early morning gamers, self-proclaimed space geeks, stargazing science junkies, tireless trailblazers, daydreamers, and especially square peg in a round hole type thinkers. To shape the force that protects our interest in space and our everyday lives on Earth, the only force created for the 21st century.
We need people like you.
So consider this your invitation.
Let's test your speakers.
Good afternoon, Atlanta, and welcome back to DreamHack Atlanta here for the DreamHack Collegiate Invitational. My name is Sam Talks. Joining me on the desk is going to be Zobi. Zobi, it's been a jam-packed weekend, right? Starting from Friday, Saturday, and now ending here today on Championship Sunday. Valorant has been nothing short of amazing.
Absolutely. I feel like the group stage was full of surprises, three-way ties, and upsets, and then we got to playoffs. It was fairly as expected, right? Narrowing down our 8 teams that were invited after applying down to our final 2, the number 1 seeds from Group 1 and Group 2. But I think we should start off by recapping the entire weekend, right? Every team deserves their spot in the spotlight because they came out to compete in person, right? One of the first lands of the collegiate season. So can we take a look back at the group standings as well to shout out some of the things that were our favorite to see and who surprised us the most, Sam?
I think, honestly, if we talk about who surprised us the most, it's probably going to be either
I have 2 teams.
University of Texas Dallas, right? They were the kind of, they went so far last year, but could they have replicated it this year? And it looks like they did, right? They had an impressive showing against, yet again, some very strong and powerful teams. And I think overall on the other side for the Group A stage was Kennesaw State. They are the big talk of the town for me. Even though they only went 1 and 2, right? You're going up against some ringers in your group. And to have gotten as far as you did for Kennesaw State, really, really impressive to see.
I mean, you're reading my mind. Those were my 2 teams as well. I think UTD beating Fisher, first and foremost, as your first game was such a statement. And they did make playoffs again, which was, we said they were the second-place team of last year's, the only returning team from last year's DreamHack Collegiate Invitational. And on the other side of things for Kennesaw, right? I can speak as a member of their esports program as well, right? Like, they were coming in, they won an A win. Number 2, they thought they've been underrated all year, placed into Division 3 of NECC. So to come in and push these Division 1 style teams, right? And even Maryville, they got a 13-6, which doesn't sound like a lot, but it is a lot when you look at some of the other teams like Baker, who went 13-2 against Maryville, right?
Exactly. 13-2 when you look at Baker, and then Stony Brook, who's also been another powerhouse.
Yeah.
But Kennesaw State is still weathering that storm. And you look at the bracket, right? You're in a group with Maryville.
Yeah.
That's scary. No matter
they were
who
just
you
excited
are.
to go up against them. Like, they were like, we want to take it to Maryville and see what we can do. And I hope they were happy with how it went.
I think I think for all things considered, how a lot of our teams were, and especially considering some of the competition, every single one of these teams can walk away with that smile. But it's now down to our final 2 competitors, who is not smiles, but furrowed brows, rather. They lock eyes against each other, ready for that rematch that happened in the winners' finals, now bringing it into the grand finals.
Yeah, and let's go ahead and take a look at that bracket to see how these 2 teams got here after we had our top 4 crowned. Like you said, the winner semi started with best of 1s, and then everything else, right, once we got to the finals and the semifinals and the lowers and the uppers were best of 3s. And SBU, they were given many opportunities to right their wrongs and unfortunately did go out in that 3rd place position. But yeah, you were there for, I believe, the upper finals, correct? And at least watching it, right? I think it was Screwface it was Exil and Beautiful Crow that casted it, right? Did you remember anything that stood out to you for that matchup in particular?
Oh my goodness. Yeah, I was watching the entire thing. It was Haven, where it went 13-8, right? Maryville, of course, winning that out, but still, University of St. Thomas was really starting to get the gears rolling, was really starting to get the gears turning. But I was actually discussing it yesterday with Screwface when he was on the desk for the lower finals, talking about what was going on with UST, right? This is a squad that is dominant on their mechanical skill, but they don't quite have the teamwork level utility synchronization that they need to have in order to go to that next step where Maryville does. But if University of St. Thomas is able to isolate those 1v1s, or even if they're just able to start firing back, I mean, we saw it happen multiple times yesterday, and we know that multiple players from UST is capable of doing that. As long as they can, especially since we're starting off on Haven, again today, a little bit of a spoiler, it's a possibility that they learn from their mistakes from yesterday and translate it to today against Maryville.
Not just that, but like you said, you got to cast alongside Screwface in that matchup, and he was on a team with the majority of the current UST iteration, right? Those that were invited to accompany Chowie and Corsonics, right? The reigning members of UST. Did he say anything about those past teammates, how it was playing against them, or why he was excited to rematch them in the finals?
The only thing he said is that they're going down, right? You know how Kyle is.
Valid.
Super excited, ready to go. He had nothing but kind things and kind words to say about his former squad mates and about how UST is. I didn't think he wanted to dive a little too much into game plans against each other, but from what you can see and from what you saw, there was a lot of respect going on between these two teams. And, they're friends. They've been at this for a very long time. And like you said, some of them are even in the Tier 2 scene. So there's a lot of that camaraderie that's there. Yeah. But all of that's got to go to the wayside right now because only one team, can be our grand champions here for the DreamHack Collegiate Invitational.
Absolutely. I feel like UST has something to prove because their focus has been in Tier 2. The only collegiate league they play in being PCL or play versus college. And there's not really much challenge there. The only loss they have is an FF win or because they FF2, I think, play in this LAN versus Maryville, right, is undefeated right now in Division 1, the best of the best in collegiate Valorant, and UST as well, right? Fell a little bit earlier in CVAL than they wanted. They wanted the opportunity to defend their second place that they got in the 2024 season, and Maryville, your reigning champions. I mean, there's other haymakers on that team, right? I'm looking towards players like Giza, who have been able to win a CECC, like, not once, but twice, under different institutions, and be MVP both times around. Like, that is a scary name in the server that you're going to have to overcome as well.
Yeah, I mean, looking at Giza, right, and just highlighting some of the players from both of these squads, right? Giza has been this sort of maverick player that's really helped step up the game, I think, of Maryville. And it's really easy to talk about, like, Screwface and how much he's brought to the table, but when you look at how Giza has impacted things, right, his lurk timings, his clutch potential, right, I think no other definition of that can be done better than how he won CVAL for Maryville, right? It was at 1v3 against Winthrop University, and it was down to the wire, him by himself. It was one round away. It was just so close, but he was able to clutch it out, and he continues to do that time and time again. And you would think that a player like that, as time goes on, the edges may get dulled a little, but for Giza, it only feels like he's getting sharper and more refined.
And if there's one player then I think that mirrors that, not in terms of the flank and the impact, but the clutch ability, is a player like Note, right? Yes. They are like the statistically probably highest performing win or loss, I would argue, like in any tournament that they play in, right? They are stable, they're finding multi-kill after multi-kill. Even when left in uncomfortable situations, they find a way to frag out, and I think he is going to have to be on lock if they want a chance at winning this time, and even taking a map, I should say, off of Maryville this time. So super, super excited to see what he's going to be able to accomplish in the server.
Yeah, I'm very excited to see how, again, since we saw what happened in the the upper finals between these two teams, how UST is going to adapt against Maryville. They kind of already know what Maryville likes to do. They kind of know how they like to start. They kind of know how they like to roll through these maps. Yeah. Now, I asked for the professional answer from UST during our interview with them yesterday. Okay. The professional answer they gave me, Zobi, was that they are going to VOD review. They are going to look over every piece of statistics that they can. And I didn't ask for the unprofessional interview because I think we all know you're in Atlanta, right? You're here at DreamHack Atlanta. You're gonna. I
saw Maryville went to the Georgia Aquarium, right? For crying out loud, they were petting the stingrays. They're like having fun.
They were trying to get into that Zen meditative state, okay, I see. You got to flow like water. So where do you go? What's better than that? You got to go to the aquarium.
It's next door, yeah. One in Atlanta, but. I do think we are getting ready, hopefully, to ramp up in the map sooner rather than later. So we should probably talk about, like you spoiled earlier, our map pool, right? A best of 3 grand finals here. So a little bit of wiggle room. It's not the best of 1 to the group stage, but again, here we go. Haven, Split, Sunset. Now, Haven and Split, I think, to me, makes sense. Haven, both teams have played consistently throughout this tournament. I feel like Split, Maryville has played actually more, I would argue, and Sunset, neither have played this tournament. They haven't touched it.
Yeah. Well, here's the interesting thing, right? Haven yesterday was the map that started things off between these two teams that was so close for University of St. Thomas to get that comeback. But here's the problem, right? That Maryville poses to University of St. Thomas every single time. As if this team can get over 8 in the first half, it's almost like the death knell for University of St. Thomas. Ooh. It's such a high bar for them to jump over, and that's kind of what happened yesterday. And then Maryville is able to convert the pistols. They get to the 10th. And then from that point on, USC is just playing that catch-up game that they never really felt like they were able to close the gap on. Even when they started getting some rounds in a row, Maryville is just so quick on the adaptation game and getting right back in their face.
And this is interesting that I believe it's Maryville's pick, right? As Haven makes sense. You bought on it yesterday. It's a great map. I feel like Bind could be more variable for them. So why did UST start on the defense over the attack, do we think?
Probably because Maryville has been so dominant on their defense, right? Screwface was talking about it too, right? He talks a lot about how he wants to grab the operator, right? He wants to get that operator online as soon as possible. What better way to do that than when you're starting off on the defense? True. It's a lot more difficult to get that kind of value out of an operator or out of an outlaw when you're on the attack. But we know how Kyle is. That dude doesn't matter if he's on attack or defense. You're going to see that weapon online at some point, whether or not it's a good idea. He's going to make it happen.
I do actually really like the split pick though out of USD because I think that is one of the maps they were pushed the hardest on by Stony Brook. Maryville was, I mean. I think it was a 13-7, still a win. But again, when Maryville's undefeated, you have to look for those weaknesses where you may. And if they did hit the books, hit the homework, watch that VOD back, then I do think that is where they could possibly find that footwork and then send it to a map that neither of them have played the entire weekend in Sunset. And hopefully, maybe get that reverse sleep going. This is all assuming Haven would go to Maryville.
Yeah, the split game between University of St. Thomas versus Stony Brook was a phenomenal map, I think, between the two of them, right? And especially when you consider that Stony Brook was the team that nobody really had their eye on going up against UST, showed up. It was just that they were playing a sort of double Sentinel composition with a Sage and a Deadlock. And they couldn't, they started off really well on the attack, but they started falling into these rote routines that when you're going up against University of St. Thomas, right, they're going to pick up on those routines. They're going to pick up on, all right, you're going to be throwing the wall, you're going to be throwing both of your walls here somewhere in mid, you're going to be throwing it default A. So what do you do if you're University of St. Thomas? You just wait things out. Or when they were on the defense, it was a lot more difficult for them if Stony Brook was able to get on site and was able to abuse the Sentinel utility. And that's kind of where we saw, again, that UST ideas formulating in their head. Well, we really had to make sure they can't get onto the site. We have to fight them for every single inch and at least take away some of that Sentinel post-plant utility. And when you don't have a duelist either, because Stony Brook didn't have a duelist, UST, again, right, they were able to take so much space. They were able to stall out pushes for so long, and that's what gave them the leg up when it came to split.
Yeah, I mean, I'm hearing a no duelist when you have Gunny in the server, and I'm already spelling disaster there for Stony Brook just a little bit. So, I mean, that means that they've gotten the rep on split. They're prepared to take it up against Maryville, but we got to get through Haven first, and we're jumping ready to get into Aegis Select here, and I'm expecting, a little bit of a mirror composition here, to the degree of it being Jet versus Neon, right, for that duelist. So it'll be testing against Screwface's ability with that operator, right, and being able to shut down a high-gear Neon, running it down, and their former teammate in that. But another player I want to highlight here is Renz on the side of Maryville, because their flexibility these last few months as Screwface came into the roster after being that primary duelist and also being a fragger, MVP rivaling performance to Giza himself, has been nothing less than stellar, and it showcases his just abilities and as a player, right? I mean, he's top fragging on Viper some maps on here. He's played Sage that we'll probably see over on Split, right? Like, he is definitely becoming, I think, a more well-rounded player while being accommodating to this new addition.
Right. And now we were talking about the mirror matchup between these two squads, except for the duelist head-to-head.
Exactly.
And Screwface talked about this a little bit yesterday, too, where he was highlighting the Jet versus Neon, because Neon's still up. Even with some of her nerfs, is still a fairly dominant agent on Haven. And the way that Screwface described it is, right, Jet, easy to play. You're able to go a lot farther. You're still able to go really far with her. Whereas Neon, difficult to play, but the skill ceiling potential with her goes even beyond that. So Jet, easy to pick up plays, so get massive amount of impact with her. Neon, if you're able to get it in the right hands of someone like Son of Car, sky's the limit.
Absolutely. I am also looking forward, I think, to the Super Heaven or Kumi head-to-head with Giza. We talked about Giza too much earlier, I think. He speaks for himself. And Kumi is definitely going to, I think, be one that's pretty nice to rival and would be able to open up parts of that map. But getting ready, we're getting into our grand finals on Championship Sunday. Maryville versus UST. Let the pistol begin with Maryville scaling quickly into grass while feigning some presence towards A. Let's see what the follow-through is. This looks like an A split from the get-go, kind of, is the end goal here, Sam.
Yeah, but the important thing is they're not leaving Giza by themselves. Anj supporting their lone lurker, noted. Ooh, looks like some timing might be happening here. Going to keep them safe. Screwface, the first one onto site. A little bit of fire coming their way, forces them back, and here's the rotation. This is the kind of play that Maryville likes to do, right? They like to they go for the hit. They rotate off for a second, and then they re-hit the site when they try to draw attention away. I think that's kind of what we're seeing here. Anj so fast, though. There's almost nothing that Chowie could have done to protect themselves from that. And it looks like the smoke went down, but not far enough to cover Connector. Son of Car going to trade things out, even the numbers back into their favor. But Giza still deposited themselves in this back site. Close encounters. And though Giza wasn't able to get rid of anybody, it did deal a smidge of damage. Spike is going to be planted, but now we're down to the 2v3, where it's just one shot from Rins each. A 3K for them now. And back off, regroup with your comrade to take on Corsonics, or maybe even, heck, just take the fight here. You've already got them down to half HP. Now you play the long-range duels, you play the long-range engagements. Corsonic only has the ghost. Outrange them in the second they pop in. Rins, he doesn't even need to be a body shot. Hit him in the head. Hit the 4K.
You highlighted the Maryville pistol wins, and there's another one on the table. I thought for a second that UST kind of had it down what they were doing, right? They were trying to pinch, right, out of C-Link and A-Link, those two B-main lurk players, right? And I was impressed as well that it was this tag team effort, right, between Super Heaven or Kumi and Note. But then after that fact, they just peeled off and took these ones right up against Rens into CT, and everything started to fall away after the spike went down. So now coming into the eco, no mid rundown this time around. They're trusting that to the alarm bot and the Killjoy util. Instead, it's going to be an all-out brawl A main.
All-out brawl. Look at that. What did I tell you, right? Screwface got that outlaw. He's prepped for it. Once that Viper wall goes down, you had to be so careful if you're in main. Screwface flirting a little bit with danger, but got the drop on Noted. Saw the body before anything else, and it's just these little minute differences. Just the edge is all that Screwface needs, and two players are already gone on A main, and it's looking like he even wants to keep this tempo going with the rest of the squad. Push up onto A. Make sure, though, that you clear through sewers. Corsonics is still there, and Giza, ooh, the timing! Wow! Thankfully, Anj, the double kill to protect the defenses of your flank. Corsonics is still just in sewers. Maryville can go and try and find this pesky player, but as far as they're concerned, just get the spike planted.
I think they're waiting for Anj to come back down, right? Low HP, low shield, would be able to hopefully get the job done. But Cloric on the late reclear would have only donated a sheriff or marshal to the cause. Keeps things under wraps and gonna collect the Spectre and the Bulldog back up over that marshal. So I'd say a pretty good conversion here, despite the kerfuffle timing out of Giza. So up 2-0 here, and honestly, I'm surprised that we only have the two Guardians on the side of UST. But this round is going to be important. You don't want things to snowball, like you mentioned. I mean, you already think that their defense half is strong, so if the attack is sweltering, no opportunities for a comeback here. And honestly, like, we mentioned, okay, if UST is gaming, right, then maybe they'll have a chance against Mary, but I don't want them taking the outright aim duels. I want smart, intelligent, overwhelming plays. And again, it's just one player hoping for heroics, and it's not going to happen.
Yeah, Screwface. That tailwind set things up so perfectly for Giza, but Son of Car over on backside, even with the snakebite at their feet, there's just so much that you can do. 11 HP! Noted trying to keep their comrade safe, but Cloric down to 5. Not much that needs to be done to get rid of this Sova. And Noted's gonna make sure that it doesn't go any further than that. Bonus round denied against Maryville University. University of St. Thomas grabs their first.
Yeah, we went from one end of the spectrum, like I said, single heroic swinging into 3, to the other end, a perfect 3-on-1 supported util fight, right? From the Rayleigh Bolt that Son of Car found 2, and then you had this kind of tiered cake when we saw Kumi rotate into logs and fight back in off of this site smoke. Very, very nicely done there, and some fist bumps all around, right? That's a round you should have won, and it got dicey from the get-go, so this is where we're looking for that continuance, right? And they didn't really be able to upgrade their weapons or anything. It's still going to be these Guardians carried over, so up against now full rifles, we'll see what they can do. Maryville has had strong openings A in the first few rounds every single time, so replicating that at least for the slow start. Looking for that fight that, I mean, UST was giving, and speaking of looking for fights, Son of Car.
Yeah, he's hungry for it. Right, that's one of the things that University of St. Thomas was struggling on, is the defense game on gaining some of this space. How far Son of Car is pushed up? Very little margin of error, and Cloric is going to punish that lack of that lack of awareness, so to speak, on that end. But a lot of spam damage coming through. And just going to peek out of the smoke. Thankfully, Cloric is going to keep out and save. Didn't clear that corner, so still alive for the moment. Now inside, deposited towards window. Giza. It's going to be that knife in the dark. For Sonic's none the wiser. Oh, maybe some the wiser. Well, Giza had the drop there, but the wall.
The double back was crazy.
Yeah.
Out of course, Onyx just taking their time in what is now a 1v3 for the round. They know Cloric drone from backside, trying to get the wallbang angle, but they're tucked away safely, providing support still from the recon, and it's Anj to finish things off, take the swing, and take the round. asserting Maryville University's lead there. And honestly, like, I understand why Son of Kara is going searching there, right? It's so much information. You can have these rotations now kind of shuffled towards the opposite side of the map, but that's the issue with a double controller composition with Chowie or Big Poppy on the Viper, is that you don't have a breach, don't have anything to support Son of Kara. He has to be this standalone fragging player like Screwface has sung his praises about. And again, I mean, this early, you're trying to get warmed up, you're trying to get in the swing of things. I don't know if it's too early to make those style of plays. So now, unfortunately, the money's been reset, but they do have some offset with the overdrive ult to lead into with the Stinger as well from Chowie. We got to see these team fights that we saw on the first rifle round come into swing.
That's scary for Chowie. Screwface has the Outlaw back in hand again. And you know, if you're Chowie, you're so tepid about even just peeking through that one shot. It's all it takes, and you're out of here. Noted so far forward, Rins capitalizing on some of that mistakes, going to force him out on the other side. Here it is, the overdrive popped, Screwface head barbecued off his shoulders. Noted still trying to push even farther forward, Rins eliminating the pesky Omen. But now we're looking at a deficit of 2 players on the side of University of St. Thomas. Meanwhile, Maryville is still just pushing up C-Long. Chowie is struggling.
Yeah. I like their position off the Vipers wall, but it's going to be difficult to put onto the space, Sam.
It really is, right? Check your corner. Giza.
Oh!
Whoa! Okay. Double kill with the Stinger. Rins, though. It may have gone topsy-turvy for a second, but stabilizing out the team. It's still a 1v2. Corsonics the last one left alive, but are they looking for their flank? Yes, they are. The recon drone, maybe timing? Yes, it did see him. Right, they know exactly where Corsonics is. Even pinged by the dart. That's the recon ball, but it doesn't really matter, right? Corsonics only has the Sheriff. Get up on the high ground. Yeesh. Massive firepower, 20 HP. Cloric down to 70. All it takes is one good headshot from either side. And Cloric, a little bit cleaner on the uptake.
That is going to keep Maryville in a firm lead. Honestly, UST, we saw the game plan. We knew how the eco wanted to be played there. Quick rotate, quick flood back into the C-side. But it came ever so slightly too early, right? Like we said, Maryville had this slow approach, this slow start. They waited, expected that to come. And as a result, they didn't really find too much impact from it. Speaking of impact, though, Chowie did a really good job here, I think, trying to wrestle things back, right? With that Stinger, with the wall reposition, that was very wise. But that's where Maryville, the experience, the reps, the thoroughness came through in clearing out that space, not letting a Thrifty slip through. But thanks to them saving that round, it's going to be the operator from Son of Kara Online versus the Screwface attack operator. And unfortunately, on opposite sides of the map for the time being. So if they get onto A, retaking it, that won't be a pretty picture. But because you're up on C, you do have the Killjoy utility. You have Kumi stacked here. We'll see what happens when Maryville figure that out.
You know, yesterday with UST versus SBU game was Gunny on Neon, Son of Kara on Neon, and they both had the operator. So we did get that duel. Hopefully we'll get another look at that between Maryville and St. Thomas. Now up comes the smoke, Giza. Trepidatious as always, the trailblazer for the rest of the squad. Corsonics grabbing the one before being taken out by the shock dart. Giza gonna pick up one of their own as well. 5 HP down, but it doesn't matter. Giza closes out that deal. Viper's Pit is gonna come up. Now it's down to the 4v1. And it's an operator too, so looks like Son of Kara has already made the executive decision. Nah.
Yeah. I mean, they were trying to live by the side, die by the side, very, very much so there, right? And trusting in the Sentinel utility, and trusting in Corsonics and the clutch ability that they've had, and just with neither coming through, very difficult situation to retake against, and the Viper's Pit only made it harder. So, I mean, credit where credit is due, I think, for Maryville. They're now starting to temper these ultimates that they've just gotten online, right? And you're about to get Giza's as well, who's picked up the operator to him back to Screwface, so that'll be good, and the blades are there as well, so after this, UST is not like a super heavy timeout team, right? On the other side for Maryville, they got MCE, they got a whole squad. And I think this is where you really should be taking one. The fights aren't going their way. The plan, the timings are off for executing what are really thought out notions. And I'd say they're not going to take that advice. They just want to play things as they lay. It is Maryville's map pick, so that's where that impact could be coming in. But for the time being, it's going to be, again, the Stinger for Chowie, which if you pop Viper's Pit, I can see working, and the operator on the opposite side of the map. This time, we may just get that head-to-head. Who's going to out-hop who? Place your predictions, Sam.
Oof. I'm going to go Kyle here.
Oh, he's up on the high ground. Oh,
darted out, though.
Neither is the answer.
Yeah. And you know as well, right, that you've got to figure out where Son of Kara is. because you didn't see him anywhere on the map, they have to make that assumption he has an operator, right? Otherwise, Sonakar would have done something. It's just the way that this player likes to operate. So you've heard the first ping go through. Screwface still back up on the high ground, doubling back.
Wall drop.
Now here it is, the head-to-head! Ooh-wee! All right, Screwface, winning that engagement, the blades come out, flies into sewers, sweeps the legs right out from undernoted, and still continuing the hunt, still hungry for more of these opportunities. Slowed down by the poison orb and the snake bites, and you're just resetting, waiting for your squad.
Respecting the Viper util, but now it is dropped. It is the go button off the paranoia from Anj, clearing out Graffiti, or trying to. The distraction is perfect from Xiaoyi. For Kumi or Super having to find the frags, and we're down to the one bullet, but that's all it would have taken.
The timing!
If Renz wasn't the clutch factor.
Wow! Looks away at the last second, making sure to cover every single angle. But Renz holding on firm. That was so close, though. That was down to the wire. For Maryville. Had it gone just a little bit of a different direction, all that was needed from Kumi was one shot from the Sheriff. That was it. Instead, though, the gulf continues to widen between these two teams now that Maryville entering into their 6th round 1. 4 in a row for this team, losing only on their bonus.
But buys and ults online in tandem. This is the round that they need. If it wasn't last round off of that Thrifty here. Confident this time. They know that Maryville's like these ace starts, at least for the time being, but right when they think they have a counter, a plan, Maryville sets course elsewhere, right? A quick beat pop here, thinking maybe that if they get off, they can buy down their own lockdown, their own Hunter's Fury to avoid all the impact these ultimates going to have in close quarters. But hey, Screwface, that's one hurdling ult off the line. Corsonic's kind of overfought there.
And Corsonics, right, being that sort of sacrificial lamb, is going to make things.
Can he break this from here?
Put them on high alert. I don't think Maryville even really cares, right? Just you planted it kind of in an optimal position to where you can just play away from here. Screwface is still going to get caught. No, he's not. He's not detained. It's Screwface. He's so fast on the reset to get that operator value at its peak efficiency. There is almost nothing that University of St. Thomas can do against this madman when he's popping off.
Yeah, complete disrespect for the Killjoy lockdown there from Screwface. Little nick of time getting out of its proximity to also, like, investing in Hunter's Fury as soon as, right, the spike is tapped there after it's cleared out that space. I like that challenge from Anj, but unfortunately, Kumi was ahead of it, and that is just how the cookie crumbles. And UST, I'm guessing this is where the timeout is finally coming in, but feels a little late, doesn't it? Doesn't it?
I mean, you know, you're down 6 rounds. I guess better late than never. But maybe, I don't know.
I mean, if you had a 7-5, I'll eat my words, okay? But with this buy, again, just the hero rifle for Big Poppy or Chowie and like a Viper's Pit, I don't think it's set up very well for it. They came close with the operator and the Stinger and the Sheriffs, but again, that also was a huge distraction play and overfixation on the Viper, and the Killjoy just slipped the net. So I'm not sure if you can find that stars aligning timing again for a Thrifty or Nico attempt, but hey, I mean, crazier things I believe have happened in Valorant timings and esports.
It's been happening all weekend. Zoe, I think, is a good case study for us here. Rounds that we didn't think should have been possible. Going back to that operator singer round for UST. It was so close. It was almost there. So maybe this timeout is what they need, right? Get their head back in order. They obviously did their professional night, so they might be a little tired, you know, from hitting the books and doing all of the VOD reviews. But we'll see, though. This timeout, everything for this squad, especially for how they want to sync up these ultimates, especially for what they need to get this back for a 7-5 half.
My issue, though, is I need to write a parody of Psycho Killer. It's Eco Killer, and that's Screwface with the Outlaw here, right? It's so deadly against these light shields. The only player that would survive would be your hero rifle wielder, the Phantom, out of Chowie. In the meantime, though, they know that they can get aggressive C, they can get aggressive A, so you have the Outlaw C, low risk, right? And you have a default towards mid, right? Just waiting out these stacks that are going to inevitably creep up. But speaking of creeping up, Son of Car's gone all this A space, so now it's very kind of rotate heavy away from there. You see the Sova, you see the Omen and A Link going towards B, you see the Sentinel and Pseudo Sentinel towards C, which this Viper time is going to be everything again. This is your hero rifle that could get dropped immediately, Sam.
Howie, you're the one with the Phantom. You're the one who has to hold this site by yourself. Snakebite, up through main, gets rid of Screwface, but Giza, the immediate trade. Clark waiting around. Good shot from Kumi, now back towards the doorway. Clark lands the headshot. Kumi's out of here. Anj takes care of the nuisance that's been over towards Log. Corsonic picking up the Phantom dropped. That little bit of extra firepower was all that University of St. Thomas needed. Finally stemming some of that bleeding and working towards that 7-5 half.
Ooh, nice funneling in, nice tradability there. And Corsonics, had to face out the 1v2s. Been in many clutches this time around. One of those lost even to Chloric, right, on one of the eco attempts. So finally getting the best, finally getting their moment to shine for this UST squad. And honestly, some lucky sheriff shots as well. Kind of lead away into that. You can see the celebration there. Can't celebrate too much, right? It's only a 2-7 after that, but the timeout does convert, right? Playing a little bit more detached, right? Being a little bit more on the same page, like you mentioned. We wanted them to resync now that they're waking up into this grand finals. We'll see. I mean, it's very similar, I think, setup in that regard. Maybe Son of Car not going as deep as fast, and now they have a weapon to lose.
Go, go, go!
All right. Recon drone going out through sewers. Good fast lane to try and trick them out of there, but Son of Car still got hit with the recon bolt. Now to counter them with the lockdown. UST electing to respect it, removing themselves from the equation immediately. Now up towards the high ground, noted, smoked away. Screwface putting themselves on top of the boxes. Has that operator prepped and ready to go. When you're in this, wow! Giza! What third eye did he activate? And then Screwface does it again with a wall bang on the upshot of their own. Quick cloud burst, maybe go for the one-way. Get out of the way, Anj, the paranoia to sheer perfection. You don't even see death coming your way if you're UST.
I mean, there were so many moving parts to that side hook, right? Like the operator on the Rabinovich box and fighting forward into CT off the paranoia that was beautifully placed. And I thought that Note was going to get a really nice shot, a little spray down outside of the lockdown, and that doesn't connect because of who knows what pot shot out of Giza. And that also was a really nice angle to challenge the Screwface operator, so bodyguarding at the professional level, hats off there too. An 8-2. Maryville looking for a near flawless half here. Has disrupted the buy once again out of Maryville. And honestly, Sonic's forcing up, Son of Car forcing up, since you saw Giza hunt down the Neon and prevent the save as that round crowned. But now, 8-2. And gonna have one last go at it, I think, once it gets to a 9-2 for the 9-3, but things are looking dire. And a little faked out A fight. I do like this. You're shuffling the players hopefully towards the CB stacks, but look at this. Maryville, they don't fall for unsupported tricks like that. They've re-cleared it immediately, Sam.
Wow. UST all the way at C. But this is what Maryville likes to do, right? They're slowly walking their way up. And any call that comes from Screwface is going to be based on how this op shot goes. Corsonics, operator bullets ringing around them, but it's just the one. Giving up that A-long position. And this is actually, that one shot is good enough to draw the players that were on C all the way back towards A. So the rotation has already begun. And Maryville University giving that up, look at that. But in the time that it's taken for them to make that rotation to C, UST should, the alarm bell should be ringing. They haven't seen anyone yet.
Alrighty. A re-clear from UST, like you mentioned, opposite sides of the map. It's going to then be a 5-on-5 retake, which I think is the best you could ask for in this situation if you are UST.
30 seconds left.
Well, Giza's great on the flank. I don't know if he can handle the full force of 5. So they're lucky for now. Just the turret to watch. Super Heaven trying to run contact play, but instead, yep, staying alive. Now, how many do they get on this flank? That's the question.
Yeah, a lot of questions being asked. This flank is going to be so massive. How well is Giza going to hold this to near perfection, Zobi? One player, sometimes solid state, supported by Rins. It is a chef's kiss victory for Maryville University. Almost close to the flawless, just needs to get rid of Corsonics. Flawless denied, but Anj not going to let that go any further than that. Maryville University, 9 so far. 1 more to go in this half.
I know I said Giza couldn't handle 5 on the flank, but 3 with the support of Renz, that's no big deal. And I mean, I liked the idea there. It's just, again, right now, it looks like Maryville are absolutely aiming there. We needed those trades to come out long. We needed that tip of the scale, and it just never came. And it just looks like another, afternoon in the office right now for the Maryville players. 1 away from double digits on, their map pick, but it is going to be the full attempt out of University of St. Thomas spot, just enough to have a go at it in this last round. And Feels like it's going to be pretty cut and dry. Not many ultimates on the table, other than maybe Chowie when the pressure mounts towards the C space. But will they even use it at time? Look who's already in on the fake out, mind you. They're going B, I think.
Wow, okay.
Yeah,
Good efforts here from Kumi. Screwface taken out. Giza up through mid. Gets rid of the KJ utility on the ground. Unbelievable sometimes, though, from Maryville squad. Rinse through the smoke. Headshots down Son of Car. So the numbers have been even back out. Not wasting any time. Spike's going to be planted. Anj gets rid of the lurking player up through A. Onyx dealt with. Rins keeping a very judicious eye on C-Link. And you pointed it out. Giza through the flank. They're making this huge wraparound, but they may not even need to. But it's that just in case. The one-way activated. Giza there. Not even using. They're getting ready for it right here.
Pit online, have to.
Viper's Pit has been used, but Kumi's being seen. Well, rather, Jowie's being seen.
You don't even know he's there.
Kumi's been taken out by the swarm grenade. And there is no lockdown anymore. There is barely any HP for Jowie to work with. He's gotten rid of Giza, but you've run out of time. Maryville University, a 10-2 first half. It's going to send University of St. Thomas reeling.
Switching sides.
Wow, and I think the two big things to point out there is, right, Maryville sell this, decent, I would say, fake out towards C. UST start falling for it, reel back just in time to receive the B exec. But it was the fact that, number one, Olin just quick enough to realize Geese is in a power play position, so he's the one handling the flank, right? Of course, Onyx going to crack that hold wide open, and then he still has this profound impact with the double mollies against the Viper's Pit, which was the win con ideally for UST in that situation. Does not work out, though, and now there it is, the 10-2. I feel like this is... You said Maryville's defense is scary. What about their attack, Sam?
Nightmarish.
Apparently.
This is going to haunt somebody's dreams tonight if you're UST. And I even said, too, right? If Maryville gets over 8.5, it's UST has such difficulties coming back from it. Now they're 10. Rins! My word! Some of the plays here. But these Vipers both firing on full cylinders through the smoke. Rins trying to peek out and get a little bit of space for themselves. Son of Car is going to punish that. Giza has 8 HP. There's not a lot of wiggle room for them to work with here. But Anj, slowly, they're hearing the footsteps. Get your weapon out. They didn't have it in time. Now Giza has to come back over here. What a headshot. What a disastrous moment for UST where it looked like everything was going in their way. Thankfully, Son of Car lands the killing blow. Giza's out of here. But still a 2v2. But you don't realize where Anj is gone. Of course, Onyx trying to clear out the C-long flank. Instead, punish. Now they had their back turned yet again where Cloric is the knife in the dark.
Like, tell me how it felt like Maryville was losing that round every step of the way, and then they still come out on top, right?
Right.
Like, I literally, frame by frame, like, oh no, Screwface gets overwhelmed. Even after Renz is a nice bodyguard, but he overfights. And then I think it was just these two plays, right? Anj finding Showy down C-long, and Giza somehow in HP getting that sheriff shot. Like, yeah, the trades were clean, but you were already down on players, and that's where things started to slip. So 2 for 2 on the pistol rounds. Maryville basically putting UST's chances to come back in the ground unless the Stinger Sheriff combo by can get some momentum going. In the time being, quick B stack, that's where you go on Ecos. Instead, they're trying to challenge the Shock Darts, the Spectre that is berating them on A, and oh no, Maryville. They're fully here.
Yeah, they're already here. Anj. It drops my draw every single time. No just casually walks onto site. Cloric loves holding this corner angle time and time again. And then you're going to have to walk right into Screwface with a Bulldog? Yeah. All right, well, I was going to say good luck. Kumi doesn't need good luck, but he does need everything else after that when the rest of Maryville is breathing down their neck. Maryville University, one away from Haven.
Yeah, some consistent shots and kills, but still not enough. And again, when you're forcing, you're going to be forcing till the grave at this point, right? The best weapon they have to get this across the line being that Guardian here. And, I mean, again, we have Cloric now with the Outlaw, the Eco Killer. Oh, we're not. They said we don't need it. We don't need the crutch weapon, right, to get the job done. We're going to do it the old-fashioned way with proper guns. My concern is here, you're challenging Geese on the C site, never a good idea. Probably one of the best anchors I've seen in Collegiate esports for this space right now. And again, it's a very similar defensive approach out of Maryville.
All right, Giza, the lone wolf. Maryville is so fast, so look at that. 4 players are already here. 4 players decimating University of St. Thomas. Bobby in the corner, but where are you going to go, buddy, after this? Not very far. He manages to find some safety in Garage, but it's Screwface and Giza, the dynamic duo, to send them packing. Maryville University, and a landmark moment for this grand finals, 13-2.
Ooh,
Wow.
I mean, you said a 13-8. I'm like, okay, maybe you'll get a little bit better the second time around, but it is the complete opposite. I mean, the fact that Maryville's able to elevate their skill level time and time again to their opponent, I mean, there were teams in the group stage pushing them further than UST done on this map.
Yeah. I can't believe it, honestly. This is like almost flashbacks to day one, Zobi, of Maryville versus Baker. Except for Maryville was on the defense starting that. Here they are on the attack doing the same exact thing. And we only get to see an example of their defense for 2 rounds, but we know that this team, whether it's defense, whether it's attack, Haven is their map, without a doubt in anyone's mind at this point.
And it's a good UST map either, so they couldn't just ban it out, right? You already have like the pick team side, like a beep advantage going to Maryville for coming out of those upper finals, so those choices are limited. But with Split Up next to get a map that I think other teams have pushed Maryville on, with I feel like a map that can have unexpected energy with some of the utility changes that'll come out, especially. I am excited, and I did kind of, I don't want to say write it off, but when we went to map select, I was like, okay, I feel like it would have to be split in sunset if USC is going to win this series, and it seems like we're following that plot so far.
Yeah, I mean, Split's going to have to be their Hail Mary, right? It's a do-or-die situation for University of St. Thomas. It's this map or bust. Maryville University is going to be a DreamHack Collegiate Invitational champions. And I mean, even just looking at the replays, right? Seeing how Maryville is playing right now, they are out for blood. They are out for the win. They want another title in their pocket. They're not satisfied with just what they've had so far. They want everything in the kitchen sink, and they want to do it flawlessly without dropping one single map.
I mean, you've seen the hoodies, right? That are like global, and I think it says Home of Champions is what it says, and that's definitely like what they're hoping to achieve, right? Not just one that invite new players in like Screwface, but one that are consistently getting those trophies and multiple titles. But with that, again, it is a best of 3 that is only map 1, and it was Maryville's map pick. And also, this was your first game of the day, right? You got seen at these PCs about 30 minutes before the game started. No time for more scrims, no time to get truly juiced up, right? Just some DMs, just some range action. So I would be, I think, appalled if map 2 isn't at least a little bit closer, Sam.
Yeah, well, that's what we're hoping for, Zobi. We are going to take a small break, though. Our players need one. We all need one. And I know that that map 1 blowout has us all a little bit reeling. So when we come back, it is going to be the map of split. Maryville wins it here. They win the DreamHack Collegiate Invitational. So all eyes are in University of St. Thomas to prevent that from happening. We'll be right back. Welcome, everybody, back to the DreamHack Collegiate Invitational here at DreamHack Atlanta, where in a very, very shocking turn of events, Maryville University 13-2s University of St. Thomas on Havens, Obi. And I'm hoping that for whatever is happening on our next map of Split, University of St. Thomas has it figured out, because I want that map 3.
Absolutely. Sunset map. Neither team has touched this event. They played it here and there, obviously, across their respective collegiate divisions. But, I mean, we're talking to TJ right before we started, one of the tournament organizers here. And he was like, has any of them gone to map 3 the entire tournament? We're like, no. And the fact that, again, the grand finals is shaping up to be this one-sided. I was talking to Screwface during the break, and I was like, come on, bro, give us a show. And he's like, I'm trying to, but they got to earn it. And, I mean, Split is the map they have to do so on.
It's a do or die for University of St. Thomas. It's get it all on the line right now here for the DreamHack Collegiate Invitational. But before we go any further, we do want to say a big thank you to some of the organizations that are helping to make this possible, and some of the organizations that the Collegiate Invitational is working with, including Extra Life. This year, Extra Life is proud to support Children's Healthcare of Atlanta, our local Children's Miracle Network hospital. Every dollar raised through Extra Life helps provide life-saving care, fund research, and bring hope to kids and families right here in our community. Together, we're helping make miracles happen for Atlanta's kids. If you want to game on and give back to the Atlanta community, go to extralife.org and select Children's Healthcare of Atlanta as your hospital to support. You know, Zobi, holidays are coming up, right? So,
They are.
Very good opportunity to be able to support a phenomenal cause. Worked with Extra Life before. They are great individuals, great people behind the scenes who are helping to make the lives of children better during such difficult times.
Yeah. I mean, Mariah Carey is like fully thawed out at this point, but I will say the DreamHack Collegiate Invitational has brought together some of the best of collegiate, right? And we have another one of our very important sponsors, I think, that has done that, right? Student gaming events are the heartbeat of collegiate sports, much like this one, and because they're where friendships, rivalries, and future leaders take the stage. We're just talking about Screwface is up against his prior teammates in Tier 2 VCL, and Rally Cry's college esports support program that's supporting events like this is built to amplify that energy, right? They help campus organizers transform local tournaments, watch parties, and regional events into unforgettable tournaments. Hopefully this one a little bit more, right? And with support from partners like United States Space Force, it allows them just to go even further, right? Into the stratosphere and beyond. But if you do want to check out more, go ahead and scan the QR code that's about to pop up on your screen. Wow, look at that. Thank you, production, to ensure that your events are always a step above, like this one has been. I mean, we got the players behind us. We got the player POV cams finally working. I was so excited to have that for brands. When I saw it pop up, I was like, oh,
I know,
my
it's so cool.
gosh.
So
And
cool.
yeah, so if you're ready, make sure to scan that QR code and check out spaceforce.com to step beyond the games and start your future.
Always very thankful to Rally Cry for their support. Always thankful to Extra Life as well for what they're doing out there in the world. So thank you to both of them for everything that they do. And thank you for supporting the DreamHack Collegiate Invitational. But back to our game, Zobi.
Absolutely.
Maryville versus St. Thomas. It's getting rocky roads. Split. It's that map now where the final battleground could potentially be taking place. If Maryville closes out here, they are your new DreamHack Collegiate Invitational 2025 Grand Champions. But for St. Thomas, right? They got to stop that in its tracks. They got to pull out all of the stops so that way we can see sunset.
And I got to sit back and like watch the SBU Maryville game, that comeback attempt from a 9-3 to a 13-7. So I kind of know what we're expecting, I would say, out of Maryville here, right? The Rays, Omen, Cypher, Breach, and Sage. But tell me about what we're going to see out of University of St. Thomas on the flip side, right? With the double controller.
Yeah, that's exactly what you're going to see. This is the same thing that happened yesterday against SBU. Right, you're going to see Noda putting up the A wall, or either when they're on the attack or on the defense, they're going to be setting it up through mid, or rather poison orb through mid, and setting up the wall going towards B to help protect that. It's going to be a lot of mid presence and a lot of mid pressure that we could be getting from University of St. Thomas. They love setting themselves up there. And typically what you'll see, too, is that Jowie is going to set up themselves as Astra on the actual B site.
Okay.
And playing off their utility. They're going to set things up, like, laser quick. And that's something that for Maryville University is going to have in the back of their head if they want to exec onto that site. They need to be just a little bit a step ahead of the game. And that's also where we're kind of seeing the Rin Sage be so vital to how Split is going to work, right? one of the few maps I think that Sage is phenomenal at is Split. And so to have her here, being able to wall yourself off to protect your way going in or walling somewhere off mid, so on and so forth. But that's what we're talking a lot about, how you need to be proactive with your walls. You can't be reactive with them.
Yeah. And I was very devastated to see like departure from any Sentinels at all when it was like the Taeho meta on this map. And with the new nerfs, with the Sage wall buff, I was for the longest time saying it is devastating how Sage is one of the only agents that can't buy a ghost in any of her abilities. So now you can buy the wall and the ghost again is like, oh, all the Sage mains are waking up. They're excited. And Renz now is a new one that has found his calling in that regard. I was looking towards the Killjoy, though. Obviously, comfort pick, we saw it on Haven from a Super Heaven or Kumi. I'm curious to see how it works on Split. I played it on Split before I gave in to the Cypher calling, and I'm super excited to see what tech they're going to bring. And also, because they're starting out in the, I believe, the attack, I want to see some of the lurk plays because we didn't get to see much attack from them on Haven. We obviously only saw Giza on those master lurks. I need to see someone on this side step up. Obviously, I think that can be for the Viper, too, or even an Astra. So there's a lot of options for that on the University of St. Thomas side.
There is. But the biggest option, the biggest thing that UST needs to lean into is winning this map. Right? At its core, all they need.
Win a pistol, right?
Yep. And pistol is where it all starts. It's Maryville University on the defense, UST.
Ooh.
Pushing up through mid on the attack.
Are we going to see a Sage tech wall that like funnels them into their death? It's a little bit deeper than I would expect. You can jump up over it, perhaps. You can maybe feint them into a sightline, but speaking of feinting
like
people in, Giza, yeah. Aware that they could come into a vent pop. I mean, now that Heaven's walled off, that seems like likely inclusion. I am worried, though, that Screwface could chuck an aid, force them all back, and then we'll be under a minute left with nothing left and no options for UST.
All right, so what they're going to do is break the wall here, draw out a slow orb. They're trying to give some time for Kumi to pick up the ult orb and, again, draw attention away. But up through Vince, it's really no one here. Look how far out that Maryville University has pushed through.
Oh.
Note, you are going to be in for a world of hurt. Jump peek in, Giza swing. Down goes Note, Son of Car.
And they're gone.
Swinging back over in a different direction. But there's kind of like this pinch going on. That's a brilliant flashbang. And there was no chance, it felt like, for Son of Car to do anything. Corsonics on the high ground is going to be brought down to heal. Good shots from Zhaoi. Giza falling. Screwface still on site, though. Unbelievable firepower going back and forth between the two. And even with the Zhaoi 3K, it's nowhere near enough as Maryville University claims yet again another pistol round.
I mean, for how long that, like, that pistol felt like an eternity, like, for a pistol round, right? And I like that Maryville didn't immediately go or too early for an A clear, right? They did it a little bit late when there was less than a minute left where they could then have that certainty to rotate to B. And when it did happen, they got the lurk kill, and they immediately got out. They knew the pinch could be coming in from mid, and they were able to get those trades, get those rotates back over. So very well handled, I would say, and very reactive from that duo of Giza and Screwface. Right top of the leaderboard right now, getting charged up in the weapons department. And University of St. Thomas, no silliness, no stingers. We'll see what happens here. Heavy mid presence once again. You want to break this wall. You don't want to give any comfortability over to Maryville. And things are heating up here at DreamHack Atlanta. Marvel Rivals in the background, and here at the DreamHack Collegiate Invitational.
Ooh.
Anj. Huge kill towards B main. Now the Outlaw is in perfect position, Sam.
Boy, it almost felt like it was a collateral with how quick those two shots came through. Anj gets another double kill through B main inside of Garage. No more Corsonics. They're stuck. There's really no other they can go. Screwface is going to sacrifice their own life for the rest of the squad to shine. Pick up that little fallen outlaw. It's like nothing even happened. Maryville University, a fairly clean anti-eco.
Yeah, just a very, very basic split out of UST. Not much grounds behind it. And we're starting to see the slow orbs really, in my mind, allowing for those repivots, those rotations, and obviously to get the Outlaw back on the proper line if it does start somewhere else, like A main. Speaking of starting A main, Screwface. You're talented, but against 5 full shields and the Viper as well, challenging main. This might be part of the idea, right? You get up, maybe get some chip damage, get back, and they're going to be trying to track. I was going to say track you down and run to the Cypher trips, but hey, wait. How did that kill?
I don't know.
It wasn't a headshot.
It was a headshot.
What is it? I thought I saw wallbang.
Yeah, it was a headshot wallbang. I didn't realize it would still be enough damage to get the kill.
There's a plot armor at this point, I guess. All right, okay. Screwface. I mean, that's advantage found. They want to rotate away and into Renz.
But that's the thing, though, right? You get rid of Son of Car, you get rid of a lot of that space-making potential that you get from the Rays. So everything just gets amplified 1,000-fold when you're pushing onto the site, where Maryville University could abuse that. The real issue that comes in for Maryville is if they have to go in for the re-aggression back towards that. We're also in this new era of Cypher utility where it's not as deadly as it used to be. So yeah, Glory playing off the timing correctly, gets the fault line out. Cage is going to come up, protects them in, and he's pushed up so far. An aftershock to help protect that one angle. Giza's 3K. It is jaw-droppingly amazing from Maryville. This is another bonus for this team.
We're going from bad to worse right now from Haven to Split. I mean, losing the third round, which was a very staple and very coordinated effort from University of St. Thomas over on Haven. That was honestly Cloric just shining through. And I think Cloric's breach is like one of his best roles in my opinion, from supporting to then even just being able to section out and frag away like that. And just the timing as well after Cage being popped, but then scale back up off the fault line, a corner that they didn't expect to be playing in. And even before the Sky Flash got popped, again, perfect sustained coordination. And we're going to have to see someone step up on UST's side because right now Maryville's looking even cleaner than Haven.
There it is again. He doesn't even care. You give this man an inch, he's going to take a mile every single time. And then pops off the showstopper. Okay, all right. The showstopper wasn't the highlight of this event. It was the satchel.
And the synchronous molly kill as well. So it's like post-humanist. Oh, that's crazy.
Prince push off the high ground though. Here comes the aftershock. Noted. That's the kind of fight back that we know the squad can have. This is what UST is best at. You're giving them these ones, you're giving them these fights. No. They're landing the kills, but it's Giza for Christ's sake. We know that this player has the clutch potential, and he's playing it so cautiously, so methodically. Isolate the ones, isolate the fights! But a perfect high-low is gonna send this for University of St. Thomas, a noted 4K in their first round.
I was nervous because of how fast Giza was there. I didn't seem like they expected that timing. They went in position. But I liked the little high-low, no lineup there. And Note, of course, is that player that we said is so clutch in these moments, right? I thought we were going to have flashbacks where Cloric's Aftershock sections them off and he finds one after another. But the sheriff shots, the weapon collection, the entry on the site, and the eventual trade out of Giza, all clean to get things a little bit back on track here. You can see after this loss, Maryville would be broke. And that would be a tied 3-3. But got to win this round first. One off from a few key ultimates after, Showstar was already invested in Sunkar. That's a trade's a trade.
Yeah, it's rough though, right? Screwface knew what was happening the second that concuss happened. You throw the grenade, you try to save you try to save Cloric's life, but it was only so much that you could do there. That's a really good neural theft. Screwface realizing how many players are on the other side of this smoke pushes him back from playing with his life or toying with his life. You want to make sure you keep the numbers on your side, especially even more so now with what's happening in mid. It's just playing off now the information game. He's a push away by the dog. Deep inside of Ben, Screwface is going to use the boom bot. Someone's still there at A main.
I like the stake.
Exactly. He's still going to assume that it's noted. Whereas on the other end of the map, inside of Tower, Rin's hearing, seeing, and understanding that all the utility being dumped here has to be ending at B.
Yeah, you might need to respect this, other than On, who's kind of trapped over towards B main. And I'm worried that the Note re-rotation might come in too late so that they can still get the pinch with this team. Look on that in the late round, but Costify trying to add some security, and Giza over challenges, giving numbers back to UST, and the Seekers online as well. Will spoil the gig on main.
That Seeker's so good, but you gotta be careful, Noted!
Needed to win that.
Finally makes their presence known. Screwface is only good for the one. Now Rin's by themselves. Gets 3 other players. Heal them back up to full from Corsonics. You know, one player's hiding in the corner, but Rin's doesn't know where the heck anybody else is. And finally, Corsonics has had enough of this round, wants to put it down into the dust. Where things were starting to spiral out of control for UST, they've reaffirmed their grip.
And if I am remembering correctly as well, for the Maryville SBU game on this map, it was a 9-3 when they started out on the attack. And their defense, when they lull a little bit, when they get stale, they're having a hard time coming up with creative solutions. And that's where we could have that in. Look at that little killjoy in the back lines on the free play PCs.
Wait, what? I've been seeing a couple of really good Valorant cosplays.
I haven't. That's my first one this weekend, actually.
Really? I saw KJ yesterday, and I saw a Clove earlier.
I was Clove.
You were Clove. And
you didn't get a picture from me? We're not friends anymore. But
wow, whoops, sorry.
Speaking of not being friends anymore, right? These are rivals in the server, Maryville, UST, and Giza. After getting shut down on the clutch and then overfighting all the Cosmic Divide, that's one way to shadow silent, strike back, and we said it, this should be a Or sorry, it should be a UST third, right? Because it's an eco for Maryville, but they keep the kills off like that.
And it's losing. It's Sonacar has been the recipient of a first blood for a few rounds now, and you can see how difficult that makes UST's life. You lose Raze's entry potential.
Note just entries. What do you mean?
What?
Note just entries.
Yeah, I mean, you let Note entry, but you know, it's a little difficult when Note can't sail across the sky.
Yeah.
And with their fancy, I don't know, snake bite or something.
This is the strength of Maryville, is proper reclears at just the right moments, right? We look back at Giza and Screwface on the pistol round, right? And now with this, I was going to say 3-person walk down. They know no one's deposited mid on the lurk play. But you don't have to entry if the site's just vacated, right? So Spike going down. Surplus of players already here, though, for Maryville. We'll see how this plays out.
And they're playing it for Garage, too. So they have a lot of wiggle room to make this round work for them. Double set up with the mollies also.
They have a Star Heaven. Resmoke it, yep. And there's a stun for lower plat. Ooh.
Yep, down they go. It's going to force out some of the utility from Xiaoi, but instead, On's just going to get stuck in there. Giza with a second kill. Screwface following it up. Noted. A demon with that Phantom. 40 HP. Clear out the flank. Giza! This guy is unbelievable! Determination sit through the roof.
This is no
and then force him down with a stinger. Maryville University and what should have been a round completely out of their hands proves us wrong otherwise.
I'm speechless. Can't see it. Like, that round has to be so frustrating for UST because utility-wise, fight-wise, they played that to near perfection, right? I mean, the setup there from Xiaoi or Big Poppy was perfect, right? You had the gravel kill, you had the stun, and then it just cracks wide open for 2 reasons. One, the Bucky comes sailing in for Screwface, that's fine, one. And number 2, they disrespected the Viper Killjoy utility out of CT, and somehow Giza and Clore just make it out together and play that 2v1 perfectly time and time again with that stinger and that sheriff. I mean, those fights should not have been won, but they are, and now Maryville is still in the lead.
Launch. Cover going a little bit nerve-wracking what could happen here. Smoke's gonna go up. And Noted just casually walks out of their smoke into Onja's crosshairs. It was almost too easy for this Omen. Now on the other side of the smoke, University of St. Thomas realizing that On still has to be here. Can't go too much further than that. And what's worse even than that is that Xiaoi, if they wanted to go lurk up through mid, has to break the KJ wall, or sorry, rather Sage wall, and then go into the Cypher utility that's also set up there. So this mid has not only the utility presence, but the eyes of 2 players staring this down. Finally, though, University of St. Thomas is going to reconvene up through A main, but they still have to make their push. With 50 seconds left on the clock, right? Torque is here, spotlights everything to push this unit back.
Nice swarm grenade, forcing these players to engage and take the fight, but the flash doesn't connect. Clore finds one, and now you're using the showstopper just to keep a lid on this execution, make sure it doesn't fall through. Some chip damage, whew, almost a good read on the reposition from Screwface as well to keep him running. And now you got to retake the 3-on-3 with an operator in hand, but Screwface gets one, showstopper online. This round could fall really fast.
Yeah, it's going to go all kinds of topsy-turvy. Screwface has to be so careful with this operator. They know this Mad Light is here.
Ooh, good trade.
But now it's down to the 2v2. Out comes the concuss from the Astra. This is going to lead way in for Rins to make their own presence known. But if, the longer they can draw it out, maybe for Screwface to do something with, there it is. Like you said, Zobi, they get the showstopper. The show is stopped. Maryville University, it's now into their 5th.
And that's the thing. And that's, I feel like, the difference between these 2 teams, right? If you flip the positions those players are in, I feel like a player like Screwface, a player like Clork are calling out, hey, they're 1 up from the showstopper. If they get that kill, they're going to be sailing in. We cannot be passive. We cannot be grouped up here backside. And USC just didn't feel like they had that thought process there, right? They were just playing these general crosses and just hunker down on the site. And I feel like that's because of the immediate pressure that we mentioned. Maryville was there, right? Yes, we saw Anj and Clork fall earlier than anticipated, but they bought the time needed for Renz, for Screwface to get over, and that's all they needed. Money broken again. Maryville knocking on the door of 6 once again. Now we're back to the mid antics from UST. The B splits have been good, but they have not met it. The Clork judge on the other side. Oh no.
Yikes! No way, Clork!
Give him the ace!
No way! This man cannot walk away with an ace on a judge. Surely not.
Just ultimate.
It's gonna get healed too. All right, no ace here for you, Clork, but still, Maryville University. It's it's confidence at its maximum peak from this team.
Like, okay, I have two schools of rationale here. Okay, wait. Son of Car, okay, had the Vandal, and somehow we see, shall we pick it up and get back to deny the ace? Like, that is absurd. And I mean, it's again, that kind of, I talked to, I think it was Arya from GC player about this. Buying a judge in the most unexpected of rounds, like when you're money, you're maxed in every department, most unexpected thing. And you can't plan around it. What you also can't plan around, I'm going to say is, no, getting trapped by a plethora of utility and challenge on the lurk. But this is Note we're talking about. He can stand his own. Rez ideally going to come through here.
Yep, put the wall up, get Screwface Rez. And that's why they were so eager to make... How does Renz get that? What the heck? Wait, what?
I'm going to need a replay on that one. I mean, okay, how does Note not kill Screwface over the wall, but Renz can kill Note over the wall?
Yeah, I need...
We'll see the pixel perfect angle later, but what's really difficult now is, yes, there was a 3-stack on it because of that Rez plan, the run it back Phoenix style, but now you're running into the Cypher stack and onto the Paranoia. With a minute left, I don't even know if they can make it through this choke.
I don't think so either, right? This is going to be so difficult for them to do anything. Wow, Screwface was already there, by the way. This man is all over the map. And then not only on top of that, you make it a second operator if you really want it. There's 2 operators on the field. This is crazy. It's crazy.
I feel like, for Screwface, I feel like his year in VCL, right? He's never been that, like, top of the leaderboard. He's been a stable, reliable player in flex support positions. And this is an example of when you gel with a squad, you gel with a squad, and it brings out the better in you, right? I'm thinking like EG, ironically, 2 years ago, guys, 3, I can do math.
Yes,
2020.
3.
Yeah, 2023. Yeah, I can do math, guys. And that's what's coming out right now, right? They're being set up so perfectly. But UST hash not over. This is where they kind of took the timeout last time around, but it was a 7-1. And we're like, oh, maybe they'll get a 7-5, and then we ended 10-2. And we're trending towards that yet again, this time with no timeout taken as well, Sam.
All right, this is not going good. Sonokar is already eliminated.
I've got you
Again, you're going to send out your Seekers. Screwface is going to be seen by that, forced to back away, give up some of that space. But here it is. You just go right into the waiting arms. Kumi going to be taken out by Anj. And now Renz just holds this position. Thankfully, that's a trade from Jowie, but at this point, you've lost 3 of your players. And Maryville, for the most part, is still
1 enemy remaining.
So powerful, so strong in almost every single one of these engagements.
And now we're bringing the Odin out? At this point, they look like they're having fun, and it also looks like Screwface is lying to me when he said, I'm trying to give them a chance.
I don't think they are.
No, not at all.
And I told him, I like, he was back there, I yelled at him, start missing your shots, bro. And he said, no, I got to put belt to butt.
Bro, it's the food they had right before. They were huddled outside the convention center, eating before coming in, like 10 minutes before they were supposed to be at their PCs. I was like, okay.
What were they having? Was it?
I saw some crinkle fries. They were like almost done, and I think some, it's not like Texas toast. That's what it was. I saw too. They're getting that southern food, you know? But here we go.
Got that soul food.
Yep, it's hit their souls, their aim, their core being at this rate. Giza, once again, to be tested on the anchor position. Receiving end this time around. We talk about Son of Car falling early. Sometimes traded out, so he has gotten his first kill, but this time he has friends, he has support. But so does Giza. Renz forward. Clark with the stun follow-up. Like, they're there immediately. There's 4 now.
And what are they doing? What is Maryville doing? They're just engaging in on these fights. Clark, you blink and you miss it. This dude has already gotten a 3K as the round closes out. It's 9-2, Zobi. There's 1 more round. I'm getting deja vu. But this is split, for goodness sake.
Like, I could hope, like, being like, oh, USC, they have a buy, they have ultimates, right? Cosmic Divide, Lockdown. But then look at Maryville, and they do too, right? Rolling Thunder, Neural Theft. And I am getting nervous for them. I mean, that's going to be 7 in a row to cap things off on a 10-2 half, if they get it. And we've seen the Maryville pistol record. I mean, we're on the fast track so that these teams can enjoy the rest of DreamHack Atlanta. I'm nervous. And they've also been going so fast, too. They're not taking any time. And when they're having head-on engagements, Maryville wins them every time without fail.
Screwface was really talking about how the operator is the linchpin of success for Maryville. But even with that operator, right, Giza's hitting their shots, Chloric's hitting their shots, Anj, Renz, everyone is operating at peak efficiency. It feels like there is just no hope
And I feel like they didn't use the op this much either before Screwface. I'm not gonna lie. I don't think Renz was a known opper. Like, he could, but it wasn't this level of I don't know if I can call it dependency because they do it without the op. But Screwface, again, disrespectful lockdown. Are they gonna get one though? The timing here is close.
Oh! There's no way!
He popped to a showstopper!
And then Son of Car is just gonna showstop. He's gonna switch over to an operator of his own, but Anja's still on site. They got detained by the lockdown, but even with an operator in their hands, you heard it from Chlorix Breach. Let's go! Maryville University, 10-2.
Put down the coffee. I don't think you need the coffee cup after that level of performance. No more caffeine for the Maryville squad. Wow. I mean, was the Maryville UTD Grand Finals last year even this one-sided? Or sorry, the Winthrop UTD? I don't think it was.
I don't think it was. I think UTD actually, that was where we were surprised with the UTD game because that was Winthrop. That was their peak roster at the time.
That was your Nazi.
Yeah, Nazi.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Jerk might have been on it too, yeah.
And it was just, it wasn't like this.
Yeah, this is why they're the CVAL champs this year. I'm joking. I love you, Winthrop. Winthrop fighting. Anyways.
You were just at their campus, okay, Sophie?
I was, you're right. All right, here we go. Pistol round. They have not won this series, and it is a must-do. Dire for grand finals contention at this point, Sam.
I don't see any other road back unless they win this pistol round. Here it is, though, right? All the utility going in. Screwface is in your son of car! In with the sheriff. Out with a double kill. And then now, one more player to go. And this is where it begins for University of St. Thomas. It had to have happened on the pistol round, and it did.
It's like that mentality of like, it's when it's do or die, you're in the lower bracket, you wake up, you perform, because you know any mistake can cost you, and that's probably what just got them through that pistol round. You know, a double kill with a paint shell is a great way to paint the town red as well, and that's what we kind of mentioned as well, right? Son of Car is 7-12, even after that three-piece, right? Has been having a really hard time with getting refragged or shut down on these first bloods, and in the last 2 rounds, I think he's gotten more kills than he has the entire game. So if he comes online, we have a very different chance here, and that's exactly what the Outlaw is going to keep awakening, hopefully, inside of him.
Get that confidence back if you're Son of Car. It's been a rough game for you. It's also rough for Corsonics right now. That's a heck of a lot of damage they just took. They're still alive, and thankfully the recharge shields is going to give them some more leg room to work with here. Out goes the camera. Immediately taken down by Kumi. Rotate back over. Giza gets out of dodge. Hopefully making a lot of noise that Rinse doesn't realize they're there. Doesn't really matter at this point. Corsonics got rid of the Cypher. Now back towards Heaven. Still making sure to clear out your box, clear out your angles. But for Maryville University, right, you're down 2 players. You're still trying to figure out where the majority and the bulk of UST is.
Yeah, and this is also a flip side, right? They're not quite sure that Rents is in this corner. They don't have a lot of information about where Maryville is, and that's like complete opposite of Maryville always knew and was fighting up against UST. So, as we're going to end with a regroup towards the A space. Little fake out possible cross smoke here. You don't know. You're trying to re-clear it over the smoke, which could give Renz the opportunity to flip into Heaven here, but that's why you have Note picking up that position as well. So this is looking very difficult, I think, to fight your way into.
30 seconds left.
But we've seen crazier things, so I'm going to just...
Oh, wow. Okay, both caught inside of that fault line. But the wall still being up stops Maryville from wanting to push into Heaven. And yeah, it's all going downhill. One more player left to go. A flawless round for University of St. Thomas. Absolutely what they needed.
Keep these weapons, keep the momentum. I would have only been better if they had a Vandal or 2 to bring forward by buying into that, but okay. Looking like we're Son of Car on the fast track to top fragging, to that showstopper. This is going to be, I think, one of the most difficult rounds, obviously, and you really, really want it. If you lose it, it's not done and dusted just yet, but then you have to worry about the consistent ult cycles of Maryville that they're going to throw against you just to lock in that match point, that tournament point, that overtime possibility. So, eyes trained for the time being. Here we go. Giza. Lurk side. We'll see how this is handled, number 1. Number 2, it's going to keep these players positioned, right? When the real exit's coming towards B. Rents.
That was back and forth.
Yeah. Ooh. Okay, now they know they're B main, so that was a good jump. You can see now they have the scale up here. Is Son of Car going to fight through this smoke? I mean, you have an Outlaw, right? You're not going to nose to go in the nebula, are you?
I don't think so. Yeah, we've got crazy things going on in this game.
Yeah.
He's, the call is being made for everyone to come back regroup with Giza and push on to A, but it's into all of this KJ utility. That's a bit of a terrifying prospect to contend with. Giza making the swing, pushes out. Kumi, couple of pot shots. Pops all of the KJ utility to slow the push. And get back over towards, wow, screens. Kumi still being alive, very vital towards what that is able. And for Sonic still in backside. No one clearing the Guardian. Getting maximum value. Oh, this is gonna hurt Chloric.
One enemy
Timing out by Noted and Nodge by themselves with just 10 HP. Almost feels like the final nail in the coffin's already been set for Maryville.
They have the
Just
center
needs to
tracking.
swing the hammer for this round, and now it's just gone.
Yeah, even if you pick out Heaven here, you've got Sonic's holding that. I think they're trying to save the weapon. That third round one is going to go UST's away.
10
Gonna
seconds
do some
left.
damage in the meantime, but I mean, these weren't even your weapons to begin with, right? You've collected your trophies, you've upgraded. And I was kind of like, I'm like, why is Maryville's being so careful, so cautious, so slow on their first rifle round up against a bonus? And I think it's because it was so flawless in fashion, but I think that caught up to them. And also, there was that team cohesion that we really wanted to see out of UST, right? Super Heaven falls to Screwface, Sonic swings backside. It's that kind of, again, draw the attention, get that pressure that we needed to see. But Maryville, first time out of the series, I assume, being taken now. And this is that moment right here. Like, you need that. Like, yeah, Renz maybe should have been holding back sight for Screwface, but they were worried about the Heaven swing. They were worried about everything else. So, again, small fumble here, which might be why they are, in fact, taking this time out. We'll get MC, you can see standing behind them. Hopefully get a word in. We're assuming that's what it is, right? Is a Maryville timeout?
Yeah.
It has to be.
So. Yeah. It's Maryville timeout. What we love to see from Maryville is how proactive they are on their timeouts. They're very quick on taking them. You are still double your opponent's rounds, but you've just lost the bonus in your attack half. It's time to get the head back on straight. What's the strategy going on here? Why are our pushes falling apart? Why are we getting abused by all of the util spam from USC? Why are we trying to entry onto site? We're losing everything, unraveling in front of us whenever we try to make that push happen. And it's just UST is really phenomenal on their site defense. And that was one of the strengths I was talking about for this squad that Stony Brook just could not break.
Yeah, but also, like the Stony Brook, they can come back from a 9-3. I feel like UST could for a, at 10-2. There's a world. And coming into things here, some hero rifles. Screwface with his Bucky has been a menace before. Let's see if we can get up and challenge these players. Wow. Dark cover just late from launch, and you're shut to the Shadow Realm.
Yeah, but while all this is happening up through A main, it's really what's going on in mid where we want to put our eyes at. Here comes the flashbang on, just double kill! That is weapons for all of the players that are in mid. No one is on B to defend the site. Spike is to be planted for free, and you still have Rins coming up through the flank. That could be that lurk difference maker.
Wow. No way this is how Maryville come back from a timeout. And they fought forward too. So now if they're trying to retake it, I haven't flood out of there. They could flip if they wanted to. Fight upstairs. Ren's missed timing. Should have been able to communicate this to the team. And now, honestly, Maryville look on the off, but they're scattered and getting splintered. Giza, we need heroics from somebody. Chloric doesn't have a stun online yet.
It is planted for Garage though, right? But it's got a smoke on top of it.
What?
Through the smoke! There's very little margins of errors that need to happen. Chloric on the site, but the cover from Ruby's own Shroud, Jelly's own Shroud.
Who got the kill on the player that was sticking? I couldn't.
It had to have been Chloric.
Had to have been
because
Chloric?
they were the only person.
Was there someone Heaven like Ren's? I think it could have been Ren's from Heaven. Yes, thank you, Replay.
Replay save the day here.
Kill feed, please. Let us see. Who was on it? Yeah, it was Ren.
Yeah, it was Chloric.
Wait,
no,
it was Chloric. Wait,
no,
wait. Frick, it was.
Yeah, because Chloric was the one who was in Garage.
I think the Asher got the kill on
Ren's,
that's
making the
what I saw.
spam happen through there, and then Chloric had to push on the site. Yeah. It's
huge round from Chloric, and he didn't even have any util
Yeah.
online, right? Until that final 1v1.
Yeah. All right, so now it's 11-5. 2 more rounds, and Maryville University is going to be your DreamHack Collegiate Invitational 2025 Grand Champions.
Boy, would that make the Winthrop-Maryville rivalry continue, right? They're tied in DreamHack Atlanta title.
I know. Hopefully next year we'll get both of them
I know, right?
out here.
All right.
I demand nothing less if you're hearing this, Winthrop.
They have essentials to play in, buddy. Sorry.
Yeah,
and this
I know.
round, I mean, look at the money, right? You'll have like 2 weapons, but that's it. We're Maryville's match points, so you've got to see them play like it matters. They switched up the defensive hold as well. This is kind of retakey on the A side of the map. Very hunker down towards the B site. Son of Car, we mentioned him being that win condition for this team, that head-to-head with Screwface. Woke up in the first few rounds, has since tapered out, and with this regroup from Maryville, he's going to be tested once again towards ramps. He's one of our showstopper, too.
This test going to be passing with flying colors. Is he going to have to repeat a grade? Just get the heck out of Dodge, right? You don't know how many players are here. Swing in.
Pop it,
Gets rid of Screwface. Pops the showstopper. The wall comes up.
What?
They wall that. Unch still made it through with their own TP, but it's not enough. Son of Card. We's passing with flying colors. He got an A+. He finally gets put out of the class, put in detention, but it doesn't really matter here. Because Noted, they're alive, they're fighting, they're kicking, they're screaming. UST ain't done yet.
I don't even know if that wall blocked the showstopper or if it was on Benz. I think it was on Benz. But that is an absurd round. And honestly, Son of Car didn't get the multi-kill off the showstopper, but just enough time for those rotations to come through. And I thought the Deep Heaven fight from Cloric and Giza was going to seal the deal, but I think because instead of them double swinging the CT space and we're worried about sight, I think Giza was holding the ramps, or sorry, the little platform position, rafters. It just did not go their way. So a huge round, like we said, to keep UST's contention alive. Money reset on Maryville's side, but with a showstopper with a Rolling Thunder, don't want to be too careful. Ooh. So we're going to have the Viper spit out. We're going to have a heavy mid-fight start from Maryville. In the meantime, yeah, all I found was chip damage.
Yeah, you're finding this chip damage, but when you're in these save rounds, every shot counts. Every smidge that you can get counts. That's a tight angle from Kumi. But still finally pushing on a side. Brilliant flashbang. Completely blinds him out. Paranoia over on the top. On just classic. Looking a little bit better than mine. Oh, wow! Kumi! It's always impressive, right? When you talk about what's happening on a save round, sure, whatever, they get their kills. But Kumi had to have done that in 3 different angles. They go one, flick back over, flick back again.
Yeah, most impressive we've seen from Kumi as well, how the Quiet series, like, I think that's been the big difference here is, yeah, we talked about UST, you know, what map 1, maybe you aren't awake yet, you're not at your best by any means. UST feel like they're starting to reach that fever pitch, and we'll see if it brings them out of the dark. I mean, I mentioned how at this level, right, especially with that thrifty round that was lost, it's going to be these ult cycles that are the most difficult challenge, and we're close at, I think, 1 ult cycle is all you'll really have to get through, right? I think to make this comeback, but that plus the surface operator is what's going to be challenging. And it's on the attack half. And Son of Car, if he overpeaks this, ooh, he's tucked away in the upper angle here.
Yeah, I think...
I know Maryville's clean, but why do I feel like right now they're in like an elated Cloud9 state that they might not fully clear this?
I'm not sure either.
But I'm sorry for underestimating them. I know how good they are. But I don't know, I'm getting this little like voice in the back of my head that says it could happen. Or they just rotate away, and then I'll never know.
They rotate away, leave Screwface here for someone who eventually...
Will jump peek.
Yeah, wants to either jump peek or cross over if they were hiding out.
Like on the car?
Yeah. That little cubby space on B.
I'm getting flashbacks to Haven A Long. That went off
Yeah,
the
I am
stop
too.
battle.
I am too. Is Screwface... they're waiting for that contact from Screwface before really starting to push forward. Eventually it's going to happen.
They're already under a minute, though.
Yeah, they're at 50 seconds now, so something's got to happen here. Something's got to give. Something's got to break.
Yeah, if they go A Heaven here as well, you have the alarm bot, you have the Sky. And so here we go. Pop off with the showstopper out of main, I guess.
But you totally clear out Heaven, right?
You
don't just leave this unguarded. You left Noted in that corner, and I'm guessing they didn't clear the Heaven because you're looking at Son of Car on the kill feed too. 3K for Noted, 2K for Son of Car. UST, it's only 3 more rounds now.
Oh, yeah, look at that. I was right. They didn't clear the corner. Not the one I expected, though, with Note, like you mentioned.
Yeah.
But, yeah, Son of Car. Also, when you're trying to fight and worry about, like, flipping back towards Note, I think Son of Car getting those 2 kills is understandable, you know? But, again, that's one big ult gone. That's a showstopper gone. Again, I need to see... Maryville, they don't like investing multiple ults to get around. You never see that, really. It's very, like, one-and-done approach. And I think that's what we need to see here, especially on a Stinger Force kind of round, right? Like, those ults can be your ticket into that match point.
Noted. Back a little bit, but now in through Vince. For Sonics.
Blinded.
Parasailing the flashbang over the top. Still just hiding out inside of Vince. Maryville's not really going anywhere. They're looking to maintain that kind of control in mid. Moombot's going to go forward. Not much presence noted in heaven, but Screwface still ever cautious as always. Tries to take some of these fights against Noted. Just because one hasn't been seen. Unfortunately for them, Rin's falling right next to their side. It's going to be so difficult, right, to continue to fight inside of here when all you have is Spectre for Screwface and a Stinger from Anj. Noted. It is next level when this player is going crazy.
They didn't learn the lesson last round challenging him in heaven.
Yeah.
I mean, the cage, I think, helped, which credit to Giza, but in the meantime, I mean, they're lucky they get a spike plant here, very likely. Oh, maybe not. The timing's missed. Clork's still made.
30 seconds left.
Giza feels like he needs to put a heroic act together. And this crossfire and screens, yeah, you're not going to get too far.
Oh, they weren't seen by the dog. Wait a minute. Thankfully, Noted still there, one away from the ace. This Viper has been a menace on the battlefield, and it has just gone all the way to 11. Noted with the ace. Now it's only 2 more rounds for University of St. Thomas.
We finally get our ace.
Finally!
Oh, I mean, in the grand finals, if we went aceless, that would have been very, very sad. I mean, we already had 1 denied, right? That was the judge ace from Cloric. But for now, I mean, I said it, you challenge him, you put him up against the wall, it's difficult. And 11-9, right? I didn't want to say this is early, because Maryville can feel the pressure, but I think this is like, we need that 1 round off of these ults. If we fail, it's going to be like a guaranteed UST 11th, and then you're not even worried about getting overtime. It must be a 13-11, and you're saying hello to Sunset.
I want to say hello to Sunset, Toby. I'm going to be real with you. I really want to go there. Yeah. I just want to, you know, probably nice this time of year, I'd imagine.
I was talking to Rivington, VC America's caster, about that. He's like, yeah, that's one of the benefits of living here. You don't have to go through the cold sinuses issues.
Yeah, it's been kind of wreaking havoc. It's cold out here in Atlanta.
Bro, in Walmart, it's like all of like the flu and cold medicine on the front shelf, like right as you walk in the door. It's crazy.
Yeah. Atlanta's been going through a little bit of that cold spell. We're finally about to get out of it, but for this weekend, it was a little bit chilly. Had to put on the jacket. Yeah, I had to put on the jacket.
Well, if anybody's giving me chills right now, it's UST
100%.
On the way to a 10-2 comeback here. And look, they're about to hit their ult cycle, so that's why Maryville realized we need to win this round, and dominantly so, right? Just to lock things in before an overtime.
Heck, USC's not even looking at overtime. All they're thinking about is win the game,
winning
close it out.
13-11, yeah.
Yeah. No overtime here. Just get this done. Get everything back on track. Nice and simple from Maryville University. All of its players at A. Splitting into heaven, though, still being tepid about their approach. Waiting for the wall to come down. On set up with the paranoia, but you've lost out on Screwface. That's going to send second thoughts in their mind. Rin's going to play off the back of that, and a really good fault line stops the attack as Screwface is being rezzed up.
They didn't bring the alarm bot though, right? It was stunned out. They could see it. And that's been the difficulty with this hold. You have a Viper as well and a Killjoy alarm bot, and you have players swinging off of it. Snakebite goes in just in the nick of time before the barrier orb comes off, but that's when the Rolling Thunder here to challenge Sight. But now you're worried about a backstab from the Viper. You're worried about a showstopper from Son of Car. Things are getting dicey, and Giza is the victim. Oh, wait a minute.
All right, it's Rin's in a 1v3. Surely they aren't able to do this. Surely they aren't going to give anything away. It is Noted, right? The demon has been exorcised. A 1v2. Everything on the line. Maryville needs this. They need Rin. They need them now. But in the final hour, University of St. Thomas, it is one more. And it is tied.
I mean, Noda has been the standout player there, right? Kept them from getting that deep heaven control. And Kiss the leader, I mean, or the ladder, they are their fearsome leader, right? In Corsonics has been very stable as well, especially towards the day side of the map. So I feel like Maryville is that team. We mentioned it, right? Like, you mentioned it, like, when a team gets stale, like, they can pick up on that, right? And they're able to adjust off of it. We have not seen them really change, I feel like, how they're addressing this ace site. And that's my concern, is they're cooling off here just a little bit. I mean, Money's reset again.
It's the first time a team has also gotten 10 against Maryville.
Oh, I think the highest was 7 before this. Or no, 8.
Yeah.
It was UST in the upper finals.
Yeah. So this is the first time a team has actually pushed Maryville this far. And in spectacular fashion, too. I don't think there's any better way than from a 10-2 half. All right, Maryville University. You're down on the bye. You're down on the out and outs when it comes to the rounds. It's been one after the other for your opponent. Camera goes in, clears out heaven. No one up here. It's all happening on site. This feels like a strange position for University of St. Thomas. Finally,
I'm not against
the rotation is
this.
going to begin, but look where Screwface is. Wait a second.
wait,
He
check the
misses,
discipline.
but he
Okay.
eventually gets the shot. But now you've got to get rid of Kumi, who's been so crazy. How do you get a 3K like that over and over again? It is a 2v3. It is Chloric and Screwface. You still got to get the spike planted. You still got to win these fights. You still got to get through all of this. And Screwface, through hell or high water, is going to try their damnedest. But it does not matter. University of St. Thomas. It's not done yet, but this is 11-11 now. It took 9 rounds in a row.
And that's where you heard the celebration of the peanut gallery, right? Getting us tied here, clawing their way back. Tigers they are. I mean, whew. I'm looking over, and we even got UTD here, right? Watching behind Maryville, right? They want to know who is taking their second place spot from last year, right? Like, this is finally delivering to the grand finals we wanted to see. No, you know what Screwface's going to say, or Chloric's going to say if they win this grand finals? They're going to come by and say, we did it for the content, for the fans, like we promised we would give you a good show on map 3. But the job's not done yet. We're still in the second act. 2 more rounds. All it takes is 1, right? For each of these teams to get us to overtime.
My word. No, but the atmosphere around us is electric. People jaws agape all around us. Over on the high ground. That's beautiful from Rins.
Battle stage, Battle Omen, Anj TP'd in for the deep sight control. This could be the round.
I think this was just all they needed, right? This is what Maryville just pushed onto site. But there, you're pointing it out, the lockdown. This is where things for Maryville could be turned on their head. Clearing it out, making sure everything's good. There it is, the lockdown committed. And that's going to Son of Car throwing it in Screwface's.
They baited it. Screwface Paul's going to fight forward into screens. That's perfect. You know, Geese is off-site main here. You have a tough lane in this corner. I need to see good util to flush these players out.
They had to push on the site. Anj is the only one left on here. A shot through the dark. They're fighting back with everything that they have. These are pushed in through heaven. 1 player for UST. Son of Car. Eliminated. Maryville University. It is match series championship point.
And after 6 rounds in a row won by University of St. Thomas, Maryville put a statement one down to at least guarantee their spot, their position in overtime. And I agree, keeping it simple was their best bet. We look back to even their 3rd round bonus for this half, and it felt like they overcomplicated it. They were kind of doubting maybe themselves, and that's where the cookie crumbles. At least the 6 in a row will give you plenty of funds, but you also invested your big ticket ultimates, so this round could just be the tipping point. And they're going fast. They're going furious.
They can't let anything fall off to the wayside, but they do. On to the first blood to Son of Car. This Raze has had enough. It is overtime or nothing on map number 2 of Split for University of St. Thomas. The wall is going to come up, and death undone.
That's your only smokes, so you need that res to come through. Chloric, 1 off as well from the Rolling Thunder here, so you really want him to get a kill. No orb left.
That's
so
crazy. Jowie, you're playing with my heart here, buddy. He's just tanking so much of that damage. He's down to 10 HP.
And he's the only one with an ult here, too. The Cosmic Divide could be great for a retake, so I really want to see these 2 players. Maybe I want to see Son of Car try to get close, try to get some action here. In the meantime, the rotate is called. I want to see them re-clear A main, right? Giza rotated back really early, and they could have taken all that space, and they wouldn't know anything about that. And instead, entrusting in Anj towards B main for the flip the side antics that could happen from UST. This is the first time I think we've seen them take a UST-style approach to this B exec.
All right. Noted.
You've done it
You're the
before.
ace master. You're the firepower. The beating heart. You get your 1, Giza. Neural theft, seeing everything. Son of Car, paranoid out. You cannot die here, Jowie. You have got to get something with that ultimate. This may not be an ultimate, but it is that firepower. But now it's down to the 1v3 to determine everything for the DreamHack Collegiate Invitational.
Spike planted.
Kumi, you've done it before, anchoring the B site. Now you have to retake it 1v3 up against the Rolling Thunder, too.
It's so difficult. It's so monumental, the task set in front of this KJ's face. You have to clear out the right angle. You can't let Rins get this. Giza swing, the 4K. Maryville University slapping down their opponent for the flawless run at the DreamHack Collegiate Invitational as they are your 2025 grand champions.
And the first thing I saw when we jumped to those player cams was the smirk out of Chloric, right? They came into this, the first interview, or one of the first we did was with Screwface, and he said, we came to win. And they did not drop a single map the entire tournament, right? Like, that was the closest that a team came, right? And it wasn't even to overtime. I mean, 10-2 comeback, great attempt. We said split is that map where I could see it happening. SPU also almost did it, but, I mean, attack half was insane. The reads, the rotates, they were always fighting together, right place, right time. At the second half, we saw the wavering again. We saw the ball rolling, maybe the adrenaline at a peak for UST, but I will say, I'm glad map 2 was close. If it wasn't, I don't think any of us here would have been satisfied.
No, we can all walk away, I think, with a smile on our face. That especially, you're thinking about it too, if UST just had that one more round on defense, if it was that 9-3, we'd be in overtime right now, Zobi. We may even be looking at a UST win. We might be sitting in break waiting for sunset.
Getting some boba.
Getting some boba.
I mean, with this conclusion now, all these teams have like 3-4 hours to explore the convention before DreamHack Atlanta winds down on Championship Sunday. Or, you know what also it did? It gave people time to go check out the DJ TJ stream in the Rocket League action that's not even back yet. But all in all, I mean, there it is. That's the work that I was talking about. Just looks over at the teammates, and we are going to be, I believe, getting a Chloric interview here soon-ish, right? That's the ideal, I believe, still for the squad. I know Screwface does some calling and can do some calling, but I don't think it's so shifted. Too. I think he's focused more on the fragging, being that star player in the server, and honestly, that was one of the things we noticed as well when the side swapped, was Screwface slowed down a little bit, so when Car woke up, and there was that even head-to-head that we wanted to look for between prior teammates. So all in all, I think that map, impressive. Haven, write it off. And I'm going to be excited for, I think, what the future holds between these two. Maryville's going to have rivals and upon rivals at this point.
Oh, yeah, they absolutely are. This squad looking so dominant, the squad looking so scary. But not only that, one player from this squad is going to be joining us on the interview docket. We've been talking about him. Yeah, just
come on in.
Come on over here, buddy. We've got none other than Chloric, prepared ahead of time. Chloric, it's so good to have you on here, buddy. Listen, how you feeling? Because that got a little scary at the end.
I'm feeling blessed that we didn't go OT, and we got the blood pressure down after that, so I'm feeling good.
Tell us what happened. Like, what do you think made UST make that comeback? I know SBU almost did the same, right, from a 9-3 against you in the group stage, so what changed with the side swapped?
I think the main thing was split defense. It's notoriously hard, like easy for people. Their comp was like made for it. They had Viper and Astra, so it made it pretty difficult for us. I think we just fumbled a little bit, but then we were able to fix it with during our timeouts and came out on top.
Absolutely. Now, talking about a little bit of what your weekend has been like at the Collegiate Invitational, not even just DreamHack Atlanta, but the Collegiate Invitational itself, going from the best of ones to the best of threes. Maryville University, it's dominant all of the way through. When it comes to the preparation for the squad, what's that looking like?
I mean, our prep has been like the same since last year, and we won all 4 LANs last year. So coming to this one, obviously we don't want to lose it. We're on now a 5 LAN win streak. So we just prepped the same as those. We came in dominant, and then closed out in the finals.
And we saw a little post as well that you guys were checking out the Georgia Aquarium. So I was curious, what has been your favorite part of being in Atlanta over the past weekend, whether it be DreamHack related or not?
I think it was definitely going to the aquarium. We had a lot of fun. Rins has been hyping up the aquarium because he's been singing on TikTok, all this. So like, okay, we gotta go look at it. Looked at it. It was phenomenal, amazing. Anyone should go check it out. So yeah, it's been amazing.
Now, this is your first line, I believe, right, with Screwface. How has he been slotting into what has been this core group for so long?
I think he's slotting in good. He brings in a decent amount of energy, especially during like when we're low energy, we get hyped up. He's able to bring the energy, so I think it helps us stay in it and like keep the momentum going with his energy.
All right, and one of the jokes you're making during the broadcast that with your win today, you've now tied Winthrop for DreamHack Collegiate Invitational titles. And there's this like idea of like you guys going back and forth and winning when it matters and such. So like, what does that mean then for that rivalry as well? Like, are we gonna get both of you guys here next year, hopefully?
I don't know. I've won 2 DreamHacks now, so I think we beat them. They only have 1, so I've won 1 with Fisher, now 1 with Maryville. So I think we'll take the cake, but I'm hoping to see them sometime soon.
Guess you're the win factor because you weren't here last year, were you?
No, we were not here last year.
No, okay, all right. Well, we'll find a way to get Winthrop back here, Maryville. We gotta have that clash happen again. But Gloria, before we let you go, one final question: is there anybody that you want to shout out?
Shout out my family, my girlfriend, my team, my coach, everybody at Maryville. Thank you all for watching too.
All right, thank you very much, Clark. Boom, thank you
Go
so much,
celebrate
buddy.
with the team. Enjoy the rest of the convention.
Thank you.
That's a big win there for Maryville University, though, and you can feel that kind of confidence, right?
Oh, yeah.
It's just 5 LAN win streak, Zobi. That's crazy.
I mean, we said UTD were the animals, but I guess Maryville are the ones taking that title for the time being.
Yeah, let's go. Hold on. We gotta get the man himself. We got DJ TJ over here.
We got DJ
And DJ and TJ.
Not confusing at all.
We got,
DJ.
hold on.
There we go.
Let's get some introduction out of the way.
First off, hey guys, how are you guys doing? Yeah, I honestly thought St. Thomas, but oh well. We're glad they could even be here, given the fact that they have to unfortunately conclude that program this year.
We are.
Please.
Just use this one, man.
Okay, I guess this mic's muted forever.
That's fine.
Okay, I guess we got one mic to use. All right, well first,
could go wrong?
all right, yeah, surely we're just gonna lean in and we're all family here, right? Surely. Well, anyways, that's DJ. I'm TJ. We're both co-directors of the 2025 DreamHack Atlanta Collegiate Invitational, and we're very fortunate to be here. I'm gonna let DJ talk his piece first, but I just want to say congratulations to Maryville. And also, what a way to end that off. 13-11 down to the wire. I hate it for St. Thomas, but Maryville, one of the best for a reason.
Heck yeah. No, it's been a great tournament, and I feel like the competition overall has been absurd. Maryville definitely came in there, but St. Thomas tried to keep it together. But at the end of the day, we're just grateful to have the opportunity to bring all of these teams out here in the first place. We were talking earlier with Fred from SEL, and he was saying it's events like this that teams really love, where they get to be a part of something like DreamHack, where the best gaming event realistically in Atlanta is going on, and they get to be here and win or lose, but either way, they're having a phenomenal time, and we're just thankful to be able to provide that to these people.
Yeah, and if any of you got to watch this exact stream last year, it is night and day of how things look. I mean, first off, Sam is in a full suit. Let's start with that, which Sam always looks good, but just a good example of how far things have come over the last year. We are just so very grateful and blessed for what DreamHack has been able to allow us to do, and obviously, like, esports at Georgia Tech, which DJ runs, has provided all of the equipment for production, and that's why things look so nice. It's why you have the ability to look at the players down the line. There's no other event ran by students that do what we do, and it's all thanks to this guy, seriously, and it's just an incredible step up from last year.
Well, don't think of me too much. It realistically is everyone involved with Georgia Tech esports. Elijah built out this package.
Yes.
Director of production did a phenomenal job. Anyone who wants a great director of production, look to him. Grateful to have all the volunteers. We had tournament organizers. From bottom up, it was all about community. All we really had to do is make sure we could bring that together.
Well, I guess it's time for all the thank yous, and we'll get
Absolutely.
out of here. Well, I'll start easily. Garrett, who's been manning the production the entire time, does incredible. This is Garrett's second year with us. If you're looking for somebody committed to the scene and also committed to putting on a very beautiful broadcast, you look to Garrett. DJ mentioned Elijah. Our observers did such a great job volunteering. Reach has pulled multiple shifts over days of play. A huge thank you to Reach. Upmind, casted and observed. Exil was here. Crow came back for another year as well. And I'm forgetting one more. Yuli also helped with Grand Finals, which we deeply, deeply appreciate everybody making the time. And of course, how could you not thank these two for putting on the show that they do? So to Zobi and Sam, thank you guys, seriously, so much for being here for year two. Rally Cry, Extra Life, also incredible sponsors of this event who are putting on even more incredible missions in the community. Be sure to go check out Rally Cry and Extra Life on their websites. I think that's about all the thank yous I can think of. I don't know if I missed anybody else.
Thank you to everyone watching. How about that?
Yeah, well, without further ado, this has been the Valorant portion of the 2025 DreamHack Atlanta Collegiate Invitational. It's been Sam, Zobi, Garrett, and Elijah behind the camera. That's DJ. I'm DJ TJ, and we'll hopefully see y'all next year. Have a great night.